Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Fast 10. And good God, this movie was fucking a mess. I would actually compare it to the last Transformers movie I saw, the night one where they did the Knights of the Round Table kind of shtick that they were going for. And every kind of worst possible shonen anime trope done here badly. It is 2 hours and 30 minutes of just incoherency, of retconning things beyond reasonable doubt to try and make a plot appear out of things that just doesn't really fit. The build up to the antagonist is just an ass pull, to be honest with you, because they have to retcon them in this movie for it to work. And I'm fine with dumb movies. There was a trailer for The Meg 2, and The Meg is a stupid movie about a prehistoric shark, but it knows what it is and it executes it well enough. You know what I mean? There's a difference between there's a difference between trying to do a gourmet hamburger and failing, and doing a nice, cheap fast burger and succeeding at that. Or doing like junk food, but doing it well. It's like, okay, I get this. The success of the Fast and Furious franchise has let it get away with certain kind of things, and this, I think, is going to be the thing that kind of breaks it, because this is the beginning of the, 3-part finale that we're going to be getting for the series, and it indulges itself too much on what it tries to do. Certain set pieces are just too long. The villain is shifting constantly back and forth between what kind of villain they kind of want him to be. And I don't blame that on Jason Momoa. He does the acting well. It's just the plot has his character have to have the plot demands that he succeeds for this. There's a difference between knowing that the villain has to kind of win like an Avengers Infinity War and understanding that Thanos went through all these steps to get to these things and actually worked it out. This, with Jason Momoa's character of Dante Reyes, you just literally get certain kind of plot things just fall into his lap because we need to have that happen. So, the movie begins by retconning him into the Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, Fast and the Furious movie, that he was there with the whole safe thing being taken. He got blasted off a bridge with the safe being utilized by Dom's car, and he fell into the river or waterway that was there, and then we're like, it was 10 years earlier. And then we get into nowadays. We see that, Dom's grandma? Yeah, comes to visit. They have a whole kind of little thing. Roman's eating when he shouldn't be eating. Everything's kind of just, oh, we're checking in with the characters. We also saw that Dom was teaching little Brian, how to drive and everything, and understanding. Now, granted, we do get the pretty much thing of the theme of family and understanding of if it's okay being afraid, and trying to teach him how to drive and feeling with the car and everything like that. It's like, okay, cool. I kind of like what that kind of represents and everything. But then they're just doing their kind of spiel and everything. Han looks at the car and is like, what the hell's going on with this? He's like, I'm teaching little B how to build it back up and everything. He's like, oh, cool. All right. And then Roman is pretty much set to lead this whole kind of excursion in Rome. So it's like, all right, cool. Goes off with that. And then later that night, we see that Cypher pops up. And we learn that she was working to take on Dominic Toretto, and that she was working with Dante Reyes, and that he wants to just make Dom suffer instead of just kill him outright. It's like, okay, I get that, but every kind of thing that he does to that effect is just, it feels so far removed from it, because he's literally just been inserted into the plot to have a kind of foil to Dom. it's really kind of weird because we've already kind of had those kind of instances of someone similar to Dom fighting him, and it's just like, come on. Alright, so we get him pretty much turning Cypher's people against him, and he actually kills some dude because he didn't have like a family that he could like hold hostage, and then turns the rest of the people on Cypher. She has a nice kind of extended fight sequence, but again, like most of the stuff in this movie, it goes on for too long. And here's the thing. I'm an action guy. I'm a car chase guy. These things shouldn't be extended out to such a degree that you literally start having your brain turn off in it, where it's like, I'm done with this has gone on too long, and then you just check back in to see when it's done. Action scenes and driving scenes and everything like that must serve a purpose. I don't mean that they should just be like 1 to 2 minutes. Don't misconstrue that. It should fit with what it's attempting to accomplish within the story. For instance, like in the John Wick series, showing the tacticality of John Wick as he takes on his opponents to get to a certain kind of goal. Star Wars, to showcase the different kind of lightsaber styles and utilization of force powers. Light side, dark side. Indy, his ingenuity of taking on different kind of puzzling aspects. The utilization of the airplane fight sequence. That's a good one. Let's see. Gone in 60 Seconds car chase with Eleanor, even though I have issues with that. Not the chase scene itself, but like learning about like the car and everything. Bullet. Shit. There's a lot of different kind of things. But in this movie, it's just excess turned up to 11, even though we're at 10. And she's going through, taking out the people that we're going to be working with her. Pretty much takes a dude out with an elevator. And she pretty much says to Dom, the enemy of my enemy is you. Alright? And then they pretty much get Little Nobody, Scott Eastwood's character, since Mr. Nobody's fucking disappeared. We'll probably see him pop back up because this movie has showcased that anybody that is dead will probably pop back up, and every death is just faked. Now, I'm a person that thinks that literary and story deaths should be taken seriously. If you need to kill a character, it must be done and executed well. If you don't need to kill a character, then the death just serves no purpose. You know what I mean? Like, if you're just killing somebody for shock value or just going gung-ho fucking Martin style, you have to watch out, because if you logically do that and be like, this person should have logically died from it, you could literally end your story before you wanted to end it. It's like, oh, like this, he is the chosen one, but he literally fucked over everybody and they fucking kill him in like the second act. It's like, who's the chosen one now? What do we do? The story's over. He was a dick shit and he was stupid as fuck. Guess that's the end. So you just have to watch out for that. Here, oh my god, we'll get to it when we get towards the end. So, Little Nobody pretty much takes Cypher to a black site and says that I didn't tell anybody about any kind of Rome intelligence. So, this is pretty much a ploy by Dante to have the extended chase sequence of a fucking thunderball bomb thing rolling through Rome. Roman's plan actually works out pretty well. He's driving a pretty much gold Lamborghini to be Mr. Flashy Flash, and Han's in like another kind of little car, but Ramsey and TJ, Tej, TJ? Tej. Why did I go TJ? God, the thing is, after a certain point, it fucking starts. Tej. I don't know why I said TJ. But they're going after what they think is a quantum computer chip, and they get into this truck using gas that Roman had used in one of the kind of little RCs. Well, Tej operated it, and they get into it, and they find out they're locked with a bomb, and then thus begins the elongated chase sequence that should have been cut. I honestly think that this movie could have been 90 minutes and just introduced Jason Momoa's character in this, and then gone with certain kind of consequences. So it's going everywhere. Dom and Letty and little Mr. Nobody pop up to kind of get into contact with him, and Dante is utilizing the people that he got for like their tech expertise from Cypher, and he's like, oh, just let me do this, and then he starts rolling around on a motorcycle as well, doing some weird kind of tech shit that's essentially just fucking magic to a degree, where he's trying to like arm the bomb and shit, and Dom's like, I'll do this, and it's just essentially driving in front of the bomb thing, trying to like smack the shit out of it, and I'm like, I think they called it a neutrino bomb or whatnot, which, again, they're different kind of things of probably activating that, but I don't think smacking the shit out of it and setting it on fire are, like, conducive for its fucking structural integrity of not blowing the fuck up. But again, it continues going on, and Dante's trying to have it fucking take down the Vatican, and Dom's able to, like, smack it into a river, and we learned that nobody fucking died, and there was just structural structural damage, but yet this is to put all of his team as the world's most wanted terrorists, and I'm just like, whatever. Queenie pretty much gives him the update, like Deckard Shaw's mom, that his crew's okay, but they've gone to ground, and thus begins the fucking of everything splintering off. This movie then just fucking goes nutso. Where we've got Letty in a black site with Cypher. Spoilers. Whatever. We've got Dom's other crew pretty much trying to figure out what to do. They get to London through a container, and Dante hacks and takes all their money, and then Roman's got all the cash strapped to him, which was a nice callback to Too Fast, Too Furious. I actually enjoyed that thing. That was a nice callback. I will give them props for that. And then they just fucking go into this one with, like, Pete Davidson is in this movie? Like, the most useless cameo, and Han eats fucking, like, drugged up muffins. I'm like, what is this accomplishing? They didn't have access and didn't have money. They could have just went to Deckard Shaw and have cut this fucking thing out. We also had a fight between Roman and Tej, but that was about it. It's like, whatever. They then get to Deckard Shaw, and Han's like, I don't want to do this, but I'll do this. And they have a little fight before Nobody's organization, now led by Ames, who pretty much was like, let's go and take out Dom's people, as Mr. Nobody's daughter, Tess, Brie Larson, is like, they've done all this stuff for us, why the fuck are you doing this? It's like, because I gotta do. It's like, whatever. Like, I do not fault the actors for this. Most of the actors do have little moments where they shine, but it's down to the content that they're given and how they're directed. Like, it just doesn't fucking... These guys, everybody involved here is so much better than what is given to them. And the thing is, it's all of them. And even the kid who plays Little B works well. He's not an annoying kid. He has to deal with some kind of crazy-ass shit, but I don't fault any of them, because there was no point where I saw any of them and was like, it's because of them. They're not doing well. And so she decides to go pretty much find Dom, give her, like, I stole God's eyes. Like, alright, cool, that kind of helps us out a little bit. And she pretty much gives him updates, and he then tasks her with getting Letty out of the black site. So we'll get back to that at the end-ish-ness. We get a part where Ames's organization is going after Mia and Little B, and we get an action scene where Mia, who is competently fighting, like, her action scene at least works well enough. I'm like, god damn, she actually learned how to do some kick-ass shit. Not that she hasn't, but, like, you don't show her doing the kick-ass shit. And she handles her own pretty well. And then, of course, Jacob, John Cena pops up and helps out, and then beats the shit out of him through the house. It's, like, decent enough, getting them through floors and all that, and they decide to split their certain ways. They're supposed to go wherever Dom told him to. And then we just get this fucking shit with Jacob trying to kind of, like, bond with Little B, having a hatchback Mustang, and trying to defend that fact. I'm like, hey, I'm a Mustang guy myself. I get it, but like, you gotta be like, you gotta, even if that's like your first car and stuff like that, I totally get that soft spot, but you've gotta be like a hatchback Mustang. It hurts! And like the tunes that he's got, they get gas station clothes, they get onto an airplane to then get onto a weird flying thing that they fuel with alcohol because the kid understandably has fears of airplanes because of what was going on when he was a baby. Which, by the way, I don't even know the timeline wise of how that would even work really anymore because timely-wimey kind of stuff. So they then get to Portugal, which is interesting because that's where Dante was born. And that starts linking up that kind of stuff. Let's see. That also dovetails into Deckard and Han having their little fight. Ames' organization coming in and blah, 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 blah. Get a little fight scene there. We find out that Shaw was beating up a dude in the boxing thing. And that Roman's like, what the fuck was up with that? He's like, whatever. And Shaw's going to help him. He's like, you're gonna pay me back for this shit. But then we find out that his mother is being targeted as well because because she has helped out Dom, so he's gonna help them, gives them their stuff, and they kind of fly off as well. Let's see where we're going here. That links up Dom, then goes to Rio de Janeiro in search of Dante. He then has a driving thing where there's this one dude, Diogo, and Isabella? That. Did that. And little Mr. Nobody got kind of fucked up in Rome, so he's pretty much in a hospital. It happens a lot with a lot of people. Rio de Janeiro, Dom's trying to find him, challenges Dante to a race. He puts bombs on the other two, and he's like, ooh, there's a problem with family, you gotta figure out who to save. And the one dude blows up, and he's able to save the other woman, who is the sister of Elena. And it's like, okay, they kind of bond with Elena and everything like that. And then they pretty much look at the files on Dante and find the abandoned police headquarters. So Dom goes into there and sees all this kind of stuff. He's like, yeah, you're going to get arrested. It's like, what? Whatever! And Ames comes in and is like, hey, I've arrested you. Puts him in, like, Dom doesn't even resist. He just goes in the truck. He's like, you're not prepared for this shit. And of course, Dante tries to, like, does his kind of shit. And he's like, what the fuck's going on? Don't worry, he does know. So Dante's just, yeah! He killed the, like, tech dudes. And essentially does, like, Jokerish kind of shit. Painting their nails, all this kind of stuff. Momoa sells it. But what the actual product that he's selling is the issue here. I do not put it down to him because he acts kind of nutty and crazy and then acts kind of demented and just nutty as shit with knives and all that, utilizing a helicopter to shoot Tess, who comes and tries to help Dom, shoots Ames, but Dom does this crazy-ass thing with another Mustang and kind of uses it as a shield. He kind of beat the shit out of Dante before the helicopter bitch started going on. And then Dante takes God's eye because Tess still has it. She had already gone to the black site and pretty much got Letty to... she stabbed Letty, and then Letty kind of took her, and then they pretty much had it so that way she'd be wounded. She links up with Cypher. They kind of do a fucking fight sequence because they're trying to escape, but whatever. And we learned that at the end of the movie they're in Antarctica and they get rescued by Giselle, Gal Gadot. She's not dead, but has a submarine as well. Whoop-de-fucking-do. It's just like, whatever. I don't care. They should be triumphant kind of things. And it's just like, Han was dead, but dealing with your death, and that you were dead, but yet you didn't reach out to his ass. Like, whatever. So that's pretty much almost the end. I've got another end credit scene to deal with. Lined up there. Dom did that. Got arrested. Got out. Decided to go to Portugal. No, Ames and them join forces, so he like drives them with his beefed up car. And the thing is, Jacob and Little B are in Portugal, and we learned that Jacob made a fucking cannon car. And the thing is, all the money that was taken from everybody was used to hire mercenaries to go after these guys. And now the mercenaries go after them. They drive around. They use the fucking cannon car. It's okay. It's just I've become disgusted at this point. I'm just like, when will this movie end? And when will the good shit happen? Like, there's inklings of the good shit, but it's the execution of just being a slog and just like, oh, okay. So then the thing jams, and then we see pretty much Dante being like, I'm an asshole, I'm the villain. And then Dom, of course, crashes down in his beefed up car, and we keep chasing and everything. Brian, Little B is able to unjam the car, but then honestly, the perfect example, if you want to know what I mean when the plot demands something to happen, it's in this movie. Little B, I understand that we are in a complete scenario where you want to unjam that shit. It is literally written and literally looks like he just gets out there to essentially get captured by Dante. Like, literally the plot demands you will be captured by this motherfucker because we need it to happen. They're just like, alright, whatever. So he gets captured. He's like, I got your son. I'll keep him alive a little bit and then probably fucking kill him. And then there's helicopters trying to pretty much take Dom out, but he's able to utilize the car to kill the helicopters and then utilizes the helicopters to smack the shit out of Dante. And he's like, Little B, kill the car and everything. And he jumps between him into the car, and then he tries to get to the airfield where Ames has landed. However, it gets to this place where it is a dam, and he gets beset on two sides by Dante's like, oh, you thought that was the end of it? Fuck you, man. It's like, yeah, because the plot demands that you're fucking doing this shit. And then he pretty much drives the tankers to, like, blow up. And then he drives down the car, and they pretty much escape, even though the explosions are doing some crazy-ass shit. So him and Little B are down there. His team is almost there, but it gets taken out by Ames because Ames was working with them all along. It's like a triple cross where we then go back and see a flashback that he was working with the dude all along. And then he pretty much utilizes the bombs put onto the dam to, next time on Dragon Ball Z, this shit. Like, fucking literally. Cliffhanger bullshit. Fucking nuts. Like, this was premium price movie. This was $13. It's like, well, I'm just going to wait for whatever streaming service this would be coming on, like Peacock or whatnot, because this is just a waste of time. They literally, next time on Dragon Ball Z, as we're seeing the dam getting ready to explode, his team pretty much taken out by this dude with a SAM rocket launcher. And it's just like, I kind of believe in these stakes. If we didn't then at the end see Giselle, it's like, alright, how are we going to explain away this death and everything going on, these deaths and all that? And again, I don't need people to needlessly die, but the stakes need to matter. I mean, shit, they killed Jacob because he was like, I'll let you get through this, Dom, to save your son. And then we're at the end waiting, and then we get a mid-credit scene where Hobbs is brought back with his, like, team, and Dante's like, oh, Dom was driving the car, but you shot my daddy. Fuck. And he's like, you son of a bitch. It's like, okay, I wonder how they got you back into this, which I don't mind. I'm like, alright, just bring everybody back. So, yeah, it's going to be added in the mix. It was just an example of plot soup, where the plot demands certain kind of things, and then just so many characters. I don't know who was trying to rank. God help whoever tried to wrangle this shit, because there's too many characters to kind of wrangle it. The great thing is that I have an example of great wrangling of all different kind of disparate characters. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That was able to handle shit like ain't nobody's business, and added characters in that we needed to know about and understand. This, we had these characters, and it's like nobody understood how to juggle them or weren't given the time to like actually do this. It was just like, do it. Do it, family. It's like, family and the power of friendship can work as a thematic thing of like strength and unity and all that kind of stuff. But if you don't understand those themes and don't understand how to implement them and execute them, it means almost nothing to a degree. You're just like, Ugh! It was so messy. It's like so many things going off. It's like this needed to be edited heavily. There needed to be someone driving this well as a well-paced race to get to a point where we get to another kind of set to be like, all right, this dude means business. He has done horrible things to the Torettos, to Dom and his family. How will he answer them in the next couple films? I'm just like, all right, what is the plot going to pull out of its ass, and how's this going to work out? And I'm just like, all right, plot's going to make this guy win, and then the plot's going to make something else happen, and then we're going to get Dom winning somehow. It kind of is alluding that Dom is pretty much going to, like, die or whatnot to, like, hand off things or whatnot, but I wouldn't mind a retiring kind of thing, but sweet Jesus. This was a messy, crazy-ass movie that I wouldn't recommend people to see. And I don't say that lightly. If you like the Fast and Furious franchise, and you just want to see the craziest kind of shit go down, sure. But I think that there are better Fast and the Furious movies that do that and accomplish that in a better kind of way. Man, this thing was a mess. I wouldn't recommend it on racing set pieces, action set pieces, character set pieces, plot set pieces. I could literally look at this and be like, there's problems on all different kind of fronts. Though granted, there are small little sparks that occur, like Roman with the money. Ugh. And if you don't agree with me, that's quite alright. Have your enjoyment of this film. I want that for you. That's good, okay? But for me, I did not enjoy this, and I would not recommend it. So those are my opinions on the movie. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.